Welcome to Atlanta, the capital and the largest city of the Peach State of Georgia. A friendly and fast-developing metropolis that already boasts the busiest airport in the world. And to this futuristic Omni Stadium here, the flamboyant boxing promoter Don King has brought a world title fight. Good afternoon. Well, certainly Atlanta is not regarded as a big fight center, but it's certainly staging Tony TNT Tubbs against terrible Tim Witherspoon for the WBA crown. And I'm delighted to be ringside with Reg Guttridge. Tubbs, the champion, making his first defense against the former WBC title holder, Tim Witherspoon. It is a most important confrontation. It's also a very interesting one because it sees a clash of styles. The considerable boxing skills of Tubbs against the slugging aggression of Witherspoon. And I can tell you, there's no doubting the determination, the conviction, and the commitment of either man.
I'm the best boxer in this ring, and I'm going to take complete control.
I'm going to attack his body, I'm going to attack his soul, and then what's left of it, I'm going to take that too.
The contender, former WBC champion Tim Witherspoon, hungry to be a title holder again.
Tim Witherspoon, this is Tony TNT Tubbs. Dynamite in both hands.
The champion, Tony Tubbs, has struggled too long to let it go too fast.
There's one man that stands in my way from being third man in history to ever regain the title.
If Witherspoon does not knock Tubbs out of the way, he'll be out of the running.
When I step out that ring tonight, that belt's going to be around my waist because that belt belongs to me.
After the fight tonight, the belt will still be mine. Tony TNT Tubbs. Terribly unique, bad, bold, and sexy.
Well, he's not likely to appeal to Witherspoon. This fight certainly could be the first step towards establishing an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world from the three divisions: the World Boxing Association, the World Boxing Council, and the International Boxing Federation. Tubbs, well, this is his first fight since winning the title back in April. He's had 22 contests. He is unbeaten. 15 of his victories have been inside the distance. Witherspoon has had 25 fights, winning 23, 16 by knockout, and his defeats were by Larry Holmes when first challenging for the WBC title, and by Pinkland Thomas when eventually relinquishing it. Well, the fight is over 15 rounds, and now let's hear from our commentator, Reg Guttridge.
So referee there, Nate Morgan, giving the last orders.
I will add, I'm going to let you guys fight as long as both your hands are free. When you're tied up, give me a clean break at all times and a clean fight. Shake hands now and good luck to you both.
First of heavyweight championship for the referees, 56, been around a long time and done some top stuff. Former champion Jimmy Ellis there in Tubbs' corner. So there it goes then, scheduled of course for 15 rounds, the World Boxing Association Championship. And these fellas, certainly Tubbs is not probably known in Britain as much as he should be. He's very mobile, incredible. He's coming at 17 stone 6. It really is incredible. Against Witherspoon's 16-3. He's only six pounds lighter than when he fought in Birmingham last October against Sam Scuff. That really was a nothing fight, actually. So the first defense then for Tony Tubbs, nicknamed TNT from Cincinnati. And he started a lot earlier actually than Witherspoon, although there's only a matter of months between them in age. And he fought in the World Amateur Championships, Tony Tubbs, and lost in the final to the great Cuban Teofilio Stevenson. So he really understands the boxing business. But Witherspoon is saying he's going to take the fight to Tubbs. He's not going to pity-pat his way through the opening rounds. Well, they're getting off to a fairly fast start for absolute giants, aren't they, these two? I've been an admirer of Tubbs' boxing ability for a long time. He doesn't always put it together too much. Sometimes he takes a bit too much of a rest between punches. But Witherspoon's a hard man, although betting is illegal in Georgia. He's just been made, I understand, a slight favourite, Witherspoon. He lost his WBC championship to Pinkland Thomas, and he won the championship from Greg Page, who was subsequently defeated by Tubbs for the other one, for the World Boxing Association, if that doesn't confuse you as it does me.
Come on, go back.
Anyway, it's scheduled for 15 and not the 12, which WBC and British fights now is that standard distance. Now, these fellas do trade on durability. Neither of them have taken a count. So when Frank Bruno, I know, looks in and weighs these fellows up and records them and so forth, I think that's the thing you really have to be respected with these two fellas. They absorb punches so well. Or at least they have in the past. Can they tonight? The referee doesn't mind getting in there, mixing it a bit with them. It'd be easier for him if they can break on command rather than him having to use force if he's got to do that for any long distance. Well, Witherspoon's kept his word, coming up to the closing seconds of the opening round. He said he'd come out throwing punches, wasn't going to do any hiding. Now, he didn't do this when he fought in Birmingham. He laughed around a bit.
Good round now. Good round.
See, that's Slim Robertson there. They keep the jab in his face. That's what he wants to do. He's certainly listening, Tim Witherspoon, isn't he? Important match for these fellas now. Second round. Decent opening round, I thought, for Witherspoon. He just threw a few more punches. But this mobility of Tubbs is quite incredible. It's his heaviest he's weighed. He was 16 stone 4 when he defeated Bone Crusher Smith. And now he's over a stone heavier. But he says, don't be obsessed by weight. I know when I'm fit.
Okay, turn your weight out. Come on.
And they did, in fact, weigh over 24 hours before this fight. So he could be over 18 stone for this one. Actually in the ring.
Come on, get on. All right.
Good fast hands, doesn't he, Tubb? Definitely carrying a little bit. He's got the contours of a channel swimmer rather than a world champion. But that's the way he fought in the amateurs. He was over 16 stone mark then at 17. Getting a bit rough now. And referee Morgan having to remind them that there's a little bit of Queensbury in there somewhere, rules. It's an exceptionally fast start for a heavyweight championship fight, this, and there's a good trading round, this. And you're almost in there with them there, with our cameraman over the ropes almost. It's a pretty hard old game, isn't it? You've got to be a big fella to survive and have an even bigger heart. Tubbs is a good defensive fighter. He doesn't mind boxing on the retreat a little bit. And this is a far different Witherspoon from his last two fights, which really were total non-entity opponents. They really love this infighting in the American ring, don't they? See, they're not holding on at all. The referee eventually have to part them, but they're trying to punch inside. There he is now. He's given them every room. So the countdown for the end of the second. If the one boxer goes down 3 times in any round, the bout is automatically over. Into the third round then. And And a very lively start indeed, really. There's no sort of searching going on. They knew they had to get on with it. They'd missed each other in the amateur ring. Tony Tubbs actually fought the former champion Greg Page 7 times in the amateurs. So he really does have a student boxing background in that sense. They both come from traditional fighting towns, really. Philadelphia, Cincinnati. Well, Witherspoon might be giving away weight, but he's the one who's trying to do the bullying tactics. As he said, it's no use me trying to stand there and outbox this fella. He's a bit smart, he's very clever. He said, I just got to take a few chances. You've got to gamble a bit when you're trying to get your championship back. Or actually, in this case, another version of the championship. Question now, this tournament trying to unify one champion. We've got 3 unbeaten champions, WBC, WBA, and a thing called the IBF. And this is part of the, what you would term the elimination series. Well, I tell you, I hope they both got sound ribs. In this case, particularly Tubbs. He took a good whack round there. Oh, some good solid stuff going. They're really not larking about. Mind you, there's enough target to find there with Tubbs. He really can't hide with that waistline. Nickname Terrible Tim Witherspoon's not in any derogatory sense. It was actually invented by Muhammad Ali as a kind of joke. You know, you're real mean, moody and terrible. He used to box a lot with Ali. And to our surprise, Ali has actually been sparring here. His 44th birthday today. He's been sparring, pit-patting a little bit with Tubbs. Oh, what a good round again. Any chance of keeping this up for 15 rounds? But as I said, they've traded on durability all through their careers.
Stay down the stomach, Tim. Got to stay downstairs.
You're doing all right, Tim. You're doing all right, Tim.
You know what that means? Stay downstairs, throw punches to the body, the seconds are telling Tim Witherspoon. Big thing for him, you know, to try and recapture the championship. Only 2 others, Floyd Patterson and Muhammad Ali, have done that.
You won every round. Okay. All right. That's right. Don't get excited. Let's go. All right.
Fourth round. And I'm not sure that Tubbs' seconds are quite judging the fight as they should have done if they think he's won every round. It's a little bit closer than that for me. But anyway, long way to go. I'm trying to think of a heavier championship than this, and I can't off the top of my head. 17 stone 6 against 16 stone 3. I don't think the weight matters too much if you've got fast hands and decent feet, which Tubbs has. And of course, in the end, a strong chin to match. Tubbs made hard work of, he won clearly, but he made hard work of defeating Greg Page. But then very few people look good in a Greg Page fight, sometimes including Page. He really knows how to box on the retreat there, Tubbs. I mean, he doesn't run away, he does something on the way back. what the old scribes would have called in the bare knuckle days milling on the retreat. And you remember in the rule books, it's the man who does the leading off, not necessarily meaning aggression in that sense, that you can still lead off but not be walking forward. Yeah, this is a pretty fit referee at 56 years of age. He's got to stay in there for 15 rounds and manhandle these fellas. He doesn't score, the referee, if it does go the distance. 3 judges, all American. And just to recap on that, if either boxer goes down for 3 counts in the same round, the fight's automatically over. It's not a particular rule I agree with, but nonetheless, WBA say that. I mean, sometimes you could stop a fight after 1 knockdown. You don't have to wait for 3. It's obvious that opening pace of the first 2 rounds now had to settle down a bit while they sort of find themselves a little bit. And, tested each other's strength. Certainly a far different Witherspoon than we saw on the Pat Cowdell, Zuma Nelson card in Birmingham. And as you can see here, this is where Tubbs has got to prove now that he takes a good punch. Get the impression that Witherspoon could be the Atlanta favourite anyway. It's a bit of a neutral site for them. First big fight here since Muhammad Ali and Jerry Quarry 16 years ago. They're fighting after the bell, but I'm not sure they heard that, quite honestly. Not a very loud bell. Hasn't been used too often either. So there's the great man himself, isn't it? 44 today. They made quite a fuss of him here. He fought Jerry Quarry and he's come back here. And I think that's his eldest daughter, Belinda, his ex-wife Belinda's daughter. As Larry Holmes, a retired champion, who incidentally I can tell you is definitely going to fight Michael Spinks in April. Round 5. And it's going to be a hard one to sort out if we're really going to need the points later on. But it stays like this because Witherspoon was really starting to get on top there, but Tubbs came fighting back. It's a good counter-puncher. He's a difficult man to fight, Tony Tubbs. He knows how to feint and draw you onto a lead, and he's very defensive. He slips punches well. Look at that. You see, he's already saying, try and hit me, and it's such a large target. Really annoying, that left-hand jab, and it could be a bit painful if he leaned in with it a bit. There it is again. Trying the old Chinese torture trick with the left hand, keep tapping away. That gives Witherspoon something to think about while Tubbs is making up his mind what next punch he's going to throw. Just keeps him occupied. I really hope the referee doesn't get tagged as he gets in there. He's a big game. Just warn Witherspoon there to keep those up. They were only borderline, and they've got their obligatory foul-proof protectors. You can't win on a foul unless it's considered persistent fouling. But, you know, where that's concerned, they more or less keep part of the rule books at the front office when they come in. Paul trying to land right hands together there. But because neither of them appear to be shaken, don't get the impression that they're not hitting hard. It's just that they are exceptionally durable fighters. And when you see this, you get an idea of what Frank Bruno has to aim for. I was assuming he gets over the jet, he could see a hurdle. Well, that's where the tiring stuff will come there, when they're trying to lean on each other. But Tubbs is using the ropes as A little bit of a catapult too, if he can. Oh, that was a bit of a low punch, but nobody screamed. So Jimmy Ellis saying to Tim Witherspoon, change the tempo a little bit. Former WBA champion coming up for the 8th. And very shrewd man to have in the corner, Jimmy Ellis. I have to say, the fight's going to the pattern that I thought it would be, that they stand there like a couple of bull rhinos throwing punches the whole time. They're extremely good pride fighters too, Witherspoon and Tubbs. Well, maybe he carries that extra weight, Tubbs, to act as a bit of a cushion, and he's needing it at the moment. Well, Witherspoon was telling me I've got my mind right for this fight, which I didn't have when I lost the championship. And to be fair, he's proved it a bit too. It's the best I've seen him box for a long time. After that comparative larkabout that he had in Birmingham. Tubbs tried to break that up with an uppercut. There it is again. But it's Witherspoon scoring. He's throwing the most punches until now. These are good exchanges. They really are. May not be pretty to watch, but that's not what heavyweight championships are all about. The long-range stuff for a change from Tubbs, and that brought some cheers. Well, this really is an old-fashioned war of attrition, isn't it? I'm feeling when the bell goes, one might say that, don't leave me. Let's go. Let's just keep going.
This is the night. We're going into the night. Give me two. We're going in the night. Okay? You understand that? Yeah. Okay. This guy is dog-ass tired. You soften him up good from inside. But when you come out, don't be scared. You understand what I mean? With your head up. Okay? So
let's have another look. That was a good flurry then in replay, but it looked there as though Tubbs had been, well, he didn't look, he was tagged by a left hook. The overhead shot now. As Tubbs throws in, there comes the counter punch, and that was when the crowd started to go on their feet. He was definitely hurt by that, Tubbs.
He ain't hurt on the inside. You soften it up.
The chip again? The chip?
Huh? The chip again? He's okay. He's okay. You're all right. Okay? All right? Okay. Stop picking up.
Give up. Look it out. Grab over that chair. That's it.
Ninth round. Certainly in the 8th there, Tubbs tagged with a left hook. And probably the first really noticeable, painful punch. I mean, they all hurt in this business, but the only one that Tubbs showed that he was hurt, and the crowd noticed it as well. He'd thrown 4 or 5, and then Witherspoon just connected with that left hook. As I said, the famous Philadelphia trick, that one. Well, he fancies it now, doesn't he, Witherspoon? It's encouraged him a great deal in the 9th. A little bit of concern, I thought, in Tubbs's corner, asking him how he was and so forth. But there's certain doubts there, I think, when they say that. And there was no way from the start we knew they'd hop around in this fight. It had to be a stand and trade type of fight. And that's what it's going to be to the end. But after seeing that punch there from Witherspoon, can he do it again? Can he actually stop Tubbs? That'll take some doing. He's unbeaten, of course, 22 fights. And never been down. Well, if I had to gamble on it now, I would have thought Witherspoon's probably got the better staying power of the two. Oh, there's a good volley there from Witherspoon. Yeah, there it is. You get a little sign of slight cockiness there to say, well, I'm doing okay here, you're not bothering me. Referee telling them to fight their way out of there, otherwise he'll break what would be a clinch then. Instead of that, they're wrestling their way out. There we are, right back in again. They don't run away.
All right, baby. You got this one. You got this fight. Come on, let's win this title. Let's go out and get this.
Remember now, when his back is to them ropes all the time, step to the side of it.
Now, peace.
You understand, Tim, me boy?
Huh?
You gotta do.
Right, you gotta do. Stay inside there, trying to keep your head down, okay? Double up on that left side. You the man.
So there you are then, and a lot rest on those broad shoulders now of Tony Tubbs in his first defence of the championship, because Witherspoon definitely has been coming on strong the last few rounds. The 10th round. And strangely enough, both Jerry Coetzee and Greg Page lost their championships in their first defence.
Okay, come on.
The referee really worked hard there. He's sweating very heavily indeed. He's extremely fit, really, for work big fellas like that at his age. He's certainly bristling here with champions and ex-champions. Pinkland Thomas, Michael Spinks and Ali, of course. It's a lot better when they start to fight a little bit at long range. And I would have thought that would suit Tubbs a bit now, because he hasn't been winning too much inside. Well, TNT hasn't exactly been a damp squib at any time, but he knows he's got to start putting on a bit of pressure now. Right above the commentary position there, Witherspoon threw that right hand. Actually, Tubbs beat him to it with a good punch to the body, which you hardly saw, but it really sank in. bit of a swelling around Tubbs's right cheek. That's the only damage that's noticeable anyway from the safe side of the ropes here.
Okay, come on, your turn.
Well, at this point of the fight, you know, the 10th to possibly the 15th round, this is where they really have to dip deep into the boots, as they say, or it's the old expression is, if you can't stand the heat, you have to get out of the kitchen. It's very, very hard at this stage of the game. This is why there was a lot of supporters for championship fights being only 12 rounds. I think that it rather extends the stamina and the strength of a fighter to go those last few, but these fellas are going to manage it by the look of it.
Start pushing for fight.
He's howling low.
The ref will start looking for it.
Okay.
You're talking about being in another ballpark.
Okay. You know what I want you to do? Do that double left hook, draw him inside.
Okay.
Do the double left hook and chop him down with the right hand. And overhand right, okay? Right behind the double left hook, run to the body and bring it straight up. When you pull it there back, hit him with your overhand right. Okay? Okay?
I'll deal with it. All right?
4-round fight.
11th round then, and there's both sets of cornermen really having to encourage these gladiators to come out there. Tubbs is clearly telling his men that he felt okay, but there seemed to be a little bit more concern in Tubbs's corner than there was in Witherspoon's. Well, I'll tell you, somebody around here has got to have some sore ribs before this fight's over. I don't think I've seen a heavyweight fight in a long time where they've thrown consistently punches like this to the body, and most of them hard ones. I mean, even when they're playful fellows coming from fighters of this weight, they're a little bit tasty. Back in '82, Tim Witherspoon gave Larry Holmes, a good Larry Holmes of that time, a split decision fight before Holmes just gave up his that version of the championship. And then he lost his way a little bit there. He blames a managerial problem, the usual things that boxers say when things aren't going too well, but certainly Witherspoon's back on the rails now. The referee giving them all the time in the world there close, and you see if a man's not actually holding the other one, that's good refereeing. But I would have thought that constituted laying on there by Tubbs. Yes, and the referee agrees with me. They doubled those up well. That's signalled a few cheers from the crowd from Tubbs there. So there it is then. Is it going to be unlucky for some? The 13th. And still no knockdowns then. Tony Tubbs, the defending champion in the white trunks, I did really mark your card at the off that these lads are so durable that it would be an absolute feat for one to knock the other one over, and flat anyway. I was expecting perhaps a knockdown, but a knockout really was a bit against the odds. But there you go, we've still got time to 9 minutes nearly. A great deal of this decision really is going to depend, isn't it, on the last part of the fight anyway, because if any of these judges have been fence sitting. But on the punches thrown, I would make Witherspoon ahead. He's doing a good job on the ropes there, Witherspoon. Obviously, Tubbs comes back occasionally, but the ratio of punches are coming from the challenger. There it is, midway through the 13th. Well, Atlanta's first World Championship fight has lived up really to what the critics here thought it would be a grueling one. Remember, Ali and Jerry Quarry here, 15 years ago, was not a championship fight. It was the great comeback of Ali. It was an event. Of course, Ali won.
Okay, fight your way out of it. Fight out of it.
It's too late now for either of them to change tactics. There's no way they can, because this is what they're good at. And as I say, Frank Bruno must be glued to the screen, as it were, saying, how would I try to beat these fellows? Certainly from the athletic sense, the European champion looks the part, but it's now, this is where you've got to test his durability against these bull fighters. Well, that's it. He's waving to the crowd and saying, I'm ahead. What do you think of that?
Come on. You've got to go to work now, okay?
Can you go forward? You close out.
Okay.
Can you go forward?
Okay.
Let's go forward. Listen, we close up with a good finish, okay? Tony, you got to kill him out, hustle like it no more. Come on. Okay?
Now you got to look, Tony. Okay, now let's take this guy.
So that they don't start those shit with you, champ. You win these 2 rounds, you got this fucking fight won, champ. But you guys out-punch these guys, like you get on the end there.
Let's have a look at a bit more replay there. It could really be from any part of any round, because the pattern really has been the same. And yet it's not a boring repetition, because it's been a real hard, old-fashioned slugging one. '14th, and Tim Witherspoon showing out to the crowd that he's ahead. Whether the judges agree with him, we'll soon find out. The vibes in Witherspoon's corner were certainly good there, but you've got it won, but don't throw it away in the last couple of rounds. And on the other hand, they were pumping Tubbs up a little bit, I thought, Jimmy Ellis and co. Strange enough, when they start, tiring a little bit, that's inevitable, isn't it? With a long slog like this, then they're more vulnerable to go down. But I must say, it would surprise me very much the governor, isn't he, Witherspoon? When those exchanges like that, he takes over right away. Tubbs throws them fast, and then Witherspoon walks straight back in again. It's good to see them claiming the centre of the ring for a change for their inside work and not lolling on the ropes. He politely blows his nose. Witherspoon turns his head away when he walks away and does that. And I shouldn't think there'll be too much partying tonight, even for the winner. They'll be very tired. I really do admire the conviction of fighters like this. They've really never let up. Trying to outgame each other as well as outpunch each other.
Jimmy, get that glove. Jimmy.
Your hands got to move for 3 rounds. 3 rounds. You hear me?
Okay.
Your hands got to go for 3 rounds.
Break that stick now, baby.
You got to beat this chump like you ain't beaten before.
Right. Come on,
You got to cancel.
Over here, spit it out. Okay, be careful.
Referee visits both corners, reminding them the last round coming up.
Stumbling on you. That's right.
Okay.
Make him pay.
Sure that you're winning. Okay? You can't take nothing for granted, okay? You got to win every round. You got to go out there and punch this round and knock this guy out. Knockout ensures you win.
Well, that's sensible talk there coming from Witherspoon's corner. Take nothing for granted.
Okay? Let's win this one. We'll go home with it, okay? Let's go home with it. Okay? Hustle. Let's get on with it. Hustle, okay? Give it to him. Give it to him. Never go.
Sit there. Sit there.
So noisy there, they couldn't hear the whistle for seconds out. So the final round then of this heavyweight slog, and it's going to be a humdinger by the look of it, because both sets of cornermen have sent these fellas out to keep going in the last round. It looks to me as though they both have doubts about who's going to get it. There'll be a few sweaty palms when that final bell goes, waiting for the adjudicators to take the judges' final papers. These punches are as hard as any time in the fight. Usually they're a bit flagging a bit at the last round, but these lads are having a go. It's one of those fights really when you have to say, well, I feel sorry for the loser because he gave all. Well, they have been drawn contests in World Championships, but I'm sure these judges are going to sort out a winner there. And as we said, if you're going to go by computer scoring, then Witherspoon would be ahead. Well, is it going to be a bit of history making or equaling actually for Witherspoon if he regains the championship? And he held previously, regained by Floyd Patterson and Muhammad Ali. And the old thing that they never come back's not quite right in the fight game. What a good last round it is too. The pace is still there. there's security policemen around the ring now, perching themselves like sentinels up there to stop this crowd invading, or at least the cornermen, which they will do as we get the countdown then. What a slugging last round. Oh, they're really going to sort these two out now. Look at this. It's too late for a knockout then, because the bell actually would sound if either man went down. The count wouldn't be completed, so it's going to points, obviously. And there it is. And both, as always these days, seem to raise their hands that they think they've won the fight. Certainly the majority of support has gone for Witherspoon here. But Tubbs obviously feeling that, no, I'm still hanging on to the championship. Well, there's a nail-biting situation for both corners and for families and supporters here. What a hard, durable slog it was. So my heart went out to both of these fellas for their gameness. So the replay in the last round there. Good expression, wasn't it, from Tubbs' face there. Just the feet are not moving, but the arms are still swinging. Oh, more missed than landed there, which was perhaps just as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a majority decision.
Well, there's a surprise then. Split decision.
Judge Harry Cencini scores the fight 144-143.
One round.
Judge Robert Ferrara scores the fight 143-143 even.
Oh, that's the one that's done the split.
Judge Edward Woods scores the fight 144-141 for the winner and new heavyweight.
Yes, Witherspoon's got it, but what a close verdict that is. Just 1 point in it on one card, then a level one, and then he's got a three score there. So he's won it clearly on the third judge, and I thought just deserved it. And as I say, they're the third man in history to regain the heavyweight championship of the world.
I tired him out. I should have pressed him a little more, but I figured I did enough to win the decision. Even though he came, he threw good shots, I threw good shots. It was a good fight. And maybe they could have gave it to Tim on aggressive, but hey, well, he just born my belt for a while, because I'll be back.
Yeah. Tim, with all the shake-up now in the world heavyweight situation, is the European champion Frank Bruno come into your reckoning yet?
Yeah, anybody. Whatever my manager called King sets up for me, I'm ready, because I got the title now, I can relax. I'm going to train real hard. They said all I have to do is sacrifice a couple of years of my life, and I can keep the title. I want revenge on Pinkman Thomas.
That's the fight you want first,
That's the fight I want. I'm going to go training real hard next week. I'm not going to stop.
And all of my friends in the UK, you can get ready now, because the heavyweight title is going to be narrowed down into one. It's going to be unified, and it's going to be a series of 7 fights, possibly 8 on the outside, that will bring one heavyweight champion to the fore, Reggie. We're going to help the public. We're going to serve the public and remove the confusion from boxing.
Just finally, then, does Frank Bruno, the European champion, yet come into that shake-up?
Well, I think that Frank Bruno has got an opportunity to come into that shake-up on fighting this guy from South Africa. However, we have already made our decision that we're not going to deal with South Africa, so Frank Bruno has a chance. But as long as this, the way they're killing people down there in South Africa and apartheid, we're just not going to be a party to that. So the only thing that this fight can do is Frank has got an upside, he ain't got no downside.
So the process to find the undisputed world heavyweight champion is underway, and all the leading players were here to see the action. And as you've heard from Don King, Frank Bruno could be really part of it all. The scenario seems to be quite clear. Tim Witherspoon now wants to fight Pinkman Thomas, the WBC title holder, and the winner of that one could beat the IBF title holder, and we know that Michael Spinks is rematched with Larry Holmes for that crown. Well, that is promoter Don King's dream, and Tim Witherspoon has proved tonight that he's very much part of it. From all of us here at Atlanta, it's goodbye.